It was a quiet night in Dhaka, Bangladesh. On the evening of February 4, 2016, the offices of Bangladesh Bank, the country's central financial institution, were mostly empty. The weekend had begun. Friday is a public holiday in Bangladesh, and a few employees were monitoring the systems. But deep inside the bank's digital infrastructure, a crime of staggering audacity was already in motion. Unbeknownst to the staff, hackers had infiltrated the bank's network and were preparing to make nearly $1 billion vanish, not through weapons or explosives, but with a few well-placed keystrokes. When the dust settled, $81 million was gone, funneled through international banking systems and laundered into oblivion. It wasn't just the amount that shocked the world, it was the sheer precision, patience, and complexity of the attack. And most disturbing of all, no one saw it coming. What is SWIFT? To understand how the Bangladesh bank heist unfolded, we first need to understand the digital plumbing of the global financial system. At the center of the attack was the SWIFT network, short for Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. Founded in the 1970s, SWIFT is a secure messaging system that connects over 11,000 financial institutions in more than 200 countries. It doesn't move money itself, but it sends the instructions that tell banks how to move money. Think of SWIFT as the nervous system of global finance. When one bank wants to wire money to another, it sends a SWIFT message. These messages are encrypted, standardized, and trusted. So trusted that many banks will transfer millions, even billions, based solely on a SWIFT message. This is what the hackers exploited. They didn't need to break into vaults. They just had to hijack the messaging system that tells banks where money should go and make it say a lie, planning the cyber attack. The Bangladesh bank cyber heist wasn't pulled off overnight. Experts believe the planning took months, possibly years. The hackers, widely suspected to be linked to North Korea's Lazarus Group, a state-backed cyber criminal organization, first infiltrated Bangladesh bank's internal systems. How? By using phishing emails. Someone inside the bank likely clicked a malicious link, unknowingly giving the attackers access. From there, they embedded custom malware, allowing them to monitor the bank's day-to-day operations and learn the SWIFT system from the inside out. They studied employee behavior. They mapped out login patterns. They discovered that the bank's SWIFT terminal, used to send international transfer instructions, was connected to the internet, even though it wasn't supposed to be. But the hackers didn't strike immediately. Instead, they watched. They waited. They planned every detail, even choosing Thursday night, just before the weekend, to minimize the chance of detection. $951 million transfer attempt. Then, in a matter of hours, the heist went live. On the night of February 4th, the hackers initiated 35 fraudulent SWIFT transfer requests, instructing the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, which holds Bangladesh Bank's US dollar account, to transfer $951 million to various accounts across the globe. The money was directed to accounts in the Philippines and Sri Lanka, using shell companies with names like Shalika Foundation and Jupiter Securities. The transfer requests were carefully constructed to appear legitimate, and the Fed, trusting the SWIFT messages, began processing the requests. A staggering $101 million was initially approved. $20 million was sent to a fake charity in Sri Lanka. $81 million went to 4 bank accounts at RCBC Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation in the Philippines. The remaining $850 million was queued for processing. But something unexpected happened. The typo that saved millions. The hackers had planned for everything, except autocorrect. In one of the transfer requests to Sri Lanka, they misspelled the word foundation as fandation. The recipient was supposed to be the Shalika Foundation, but the typo raised red flags at Deutsche Bank, which was helping process the transaction. That single typo triggered a manual review, alerting officials at the New York Fed. Once they took a closer look, they noticed dozens of suspicious transfer requests. The Fed halted the remaining transfers, and $850 million was frozen before it could be released. Ironically, it was bad spelling, not firewalls or cybersecurity, that saved the bulk of the money. Still, $81 million was already gone, and tracking it would prove to be a nightmare. Investigation and suspects. As news broke, an international investigation was launched. The world's top cybersecurity firms, banks and law enforcement agencies began working together to trace the funds and catch the hackers. Early leads pointed to North Korea. The malware used in the Bangladesh bank heist shared code with tools used in the Sony Pictures hack of 2014, which the US had attributed to the Lazarus Group, a cyber-criminal arm of the North Korean regime. But pinning down individuals was difficult. The attackers had routed their operations through multiple countries, using proxy servers, false identities, and compromised systems. Meanwhile, the stolen money was swiftly laundered through Philippine casinos. Unlike banks, casinos in the Philippines weren't required to report large cash transactions to authorities at the time. The hackers knew this and exploited it. The money was converted into chips, gambled at tables, and then cashed out in clean currency. Investigators estimated that nearly all of the $81 million was laundered within days. How did they get away? The Bangladesh bank cyber heist revealed a gaping hole in global financial security. The attackers succeeded not because of high-tech wizardry, but because of basic cybersecurity failures. Bangladesh Bank's SWIFT terminal was connected to the internet, despite SWIFT's guidelines. The bank had no firewalls protecting the SWIFT system. Antivirus software was outdated. The hackers knew the weekend in Bangladesh meant 2 full days of inactivity, giving them a crucial window to move funds without interruption. Even when anomalies were flagged, like the typo in Foundation, the internal systems at Bangladesh Bank didn't trigger alerts. The most damning detail? The entire $81 million was stolen using legitimate credentials. The hackers didn't break the SWIFT system itself. They simply learned how to use it better than the bank employees. What we still don't know. Years later, the Bangladesh bank cyber heist remains one of the most sophisticated digital bank robberies in history, and many questions are still unanswered. Who inside the bank, if anyone, helped the hackers, knowingly or unknowingly? How exactly did the Lazarus Group gain access to the SWIFT terminal? Where did the money go after being laundered in Philippine casinos? And perhaps the biggest mystery, what else have these hackers done that hasn't been discovered yet? Bangladesh Bank tried to sue the New York Fed and RCBC, alleging negligence, but lawsuits are ongoing and outcomes uncertain. In the aftermath, SWIFT issued new security guidelines. Banks worldwide reviewed their systems, and governments began taking cybercrime more seriously. But the lesson remains chilling. In the age of digital finance, the weakest link isn't the code, it's the people using it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. We'd love to hear from you.